away in some alternate universe. It's the suspension of disbelief. And the problem with super aggressive technology today is that it can go too far. For instance, if you put loud sounds in behind the person, in the surrounds, they will, if they're not mixed correctly, they will detach from the screen, and the audience will, like, what's that? Thinking that it's something in the theater rather than something coming from the screen. And that's if it's done poorly. And so we're navigating a very fine line as we mix sound of creating just enough of this bath of sound, but not so much that it ruins the suspension of disbelief. Do that experiment with getting somebody to sit still for 2 hours, and then go to a theater. Or you're doing your PhD. Go to a theater with a good film and just don't look at the screen. Look at the audience and see how little they move. The fastest editing ever on a motion picture was in 1937. The film Man with a Movie Camera, by Ziegler. There's a section of the film where there's one cut every frame, and 3 or 4 layers of this on top of itself. So it's just like, I'm looking at a cinematic anthill of images. Arguably that doesn't go on for the whole film. To put a number on it, it's about a cut every 2.2 seconds. And that style is just, people do that. They watch it and they enjoy the program, and that becomes a new normal. Very slow. Because there is a limit to how much an audience can take in. We're exploring what those limits are, but there is a limit. And if you combined the speed of Discal Friday with the editing of The Office, it probably would drive you crazy.
Yeah.
Without realizing it, has to program, what is this? Oh, this is the same place, but from a slightly different point of view. Okay, now I'm ready to see it. So there's a little hiccup at each of those transitions, which is the cut point. You can tire them out very quickly, and it becomes counterproductive. And the number that I put on that, this came from studying a number of films, and very different styles and approach. But if you looked at what they were doing,
in relation to film, what are we losing out on? I think that's my question. When you don't do that, and you don't do that. You embrace awkwardness. What is it you're losing out on?
Awkward moments, because the actors couldn't depend on the camera being on them.
14 setups per minute, and
Right.
And isn't that your job to bring our bodies to the screen in the way that you invite, or the way that you unfold the nodes, the nodal quality of the film?
No.
No?
No, I would say not. But it's, the analogy would be, it depends on the music, but the analogy would be with music. You watch an audience listening to great music. They are also in this hypnotic state, unless the music is not getting to them, in which case they start to fidget. There's a wonderful recording of Sviatoslav Richter playing Mussorgsky's picture at an exhibition. It's a famous recording that was done in Bulgaria, I think, many decades ago. A very powerful recording. And so powerful that it happened during a flu epidemic. So half of the people in the audience were suffering from the flu, and yet the music kept them from coughing until the end of a movement.